today we have two special guests with us who are going to talk about all things witchy. They're going to be sharing some myths and maybe they'll be sharing some spells with us. But before we get started, I would like to introduce myself. For those of you who are not familiar with Officially-Unofficial, my name is Ana Gil, and I am a headshot photographer and the host and producer of Officially-Unofficial TV. Allow me to introduce you to my first guest, Juelz. Juelz is our favorite 315 witch. She's the owner of Juelz Cullen, where she offers many handcrafted treasures and custom-made orders. She specializes in spells and curses, as well as tarot card reading. She's also an ordained minister and first-degree high priestess. Without further ado, here is Juelz.
Hi.
How are you, and welcome back to the show.
Very good. I love it. It's our new tradition. I love it.
Right. The thing that I'm missing is my witchy shirts. I don't know where it went. I was just gonna
Next year.
Right? I'm gonna have to get one of yours. But
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited to have you here. You have done so many great things this entire year. And I love seeing all of your posts, all of your upcoming events that you have, which we're going to talk about it later. But for those who are not familiar with you, Juelz, can you give a brief introduction?
So I have my own little witch shop on my porch at my house. It's been about 5 years since I've had that. It's such an amazing thing to connect with the community, and that's what I've been doing since I've opened the shop, is just connecting with so many people all across the nation, all across the world, and I just love spreading magic as far as possible with my family. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and that is great, and that's one of the things, right? We have a special guest coming on here, which I love that you got him on with us. But Juelz, you have this great event coming up this weekend, and we would like to talk
Yes.
real quick about that because I know that's a big thing for you.
Yes, so it's a 3-day event. So it starts here, we call it Witch Fest. It's Witch Fest 2022. So Friday starts the whole weekend. It'll be at the Mansion on James Street. Tickets for that are available at witchesandheathens.org. But that is all about learning witchcraft and meeting the board of directors that are associated with the organization, Witches and Heathens of CNY. It's all about teaching and connecting. And then the next day we have the Witches Ball, which is huge. It's at the Landmark Theater, which if you're local, you know that it's just amazing there. And this year we're going to have ghost hunts, and I'm super duper excited about that. But it's going to be a great night. There's costume contests, music, of course. It's going to be great. Tickets for that are at Ticketmaster.com. And then on Sunday, we have a craft show. It's our Witches Market. So that is at Inner Harbor Amphitheater. There's at least 20 vendors. We have a few but it's going to be a great time. It's all about supporting small business, local business, and connecting with everybody. And it'll be so much fun. And that's free for everybody to come hang out and join. So
I love it. So
exciting.
the bowl and the first and second day you need to purchase tickets, but then the third day
Yes.
is free for everyone.
Yes. And you don't have to be a witch to attend any of this. You can just have the curiosity of what we do.
Which
Totally
is the best thing. Which is I always keep saying that I'm gonna attend, but one of these days I will, because I would love to just sit back and just watch everything,
Yes, yeah, because at the ball, we actually do an authentic ritual, and we're calling upon the dead. We're inviting the dead and our ancestors to join us. So it's just a very powerful, at the Landmark Theater, it's just,
Yes,
it's a dream.
yes, the Landmark Theater is the place to have an event like this,
For sure. It's the only place. That was the only place that's the first place I thought of, and I was like, we have to have it.
Yeah, that is great. So now listen, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to introduce you all to Jeff. Juelz, you've been talking about him for the past 2 years when we have this stream, and I'm so glad that you invited him over. So without further ado, we're gonna talk about Jeff. Jeff, he is a self-taught artist, author, and witch. He's located in Syracuse, New York, specializing in subjects of the occult and esoteric. Inspired by his mother and two sisters, who were also witches, he begins his journey in paganism in the summer of 1998, after a long childhood fascinated by witchcraft. Without further ado, here is Jeff.
Hello. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course, Jeff. Thank you so much for being here. We've heard so much about you the past 2 years. Those of you who usually come to this episode have heard of Jeff. So, Jeff, we're so honored to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So I spoke a little bit about what you do, but can you please share a little bit more for those who are not familiar who Jeff Cullen is?
Yeah, so my start in the occult community was actually making statues. So I'm a sculptor, I'm an artist. So that's actually my claim to fame, if you will, was providing the community with statues of deities that you really can't find statues for. And then over time, through sharing on Facebook, social media, kind of sharing my knowledge, people started requesting that I write a book about our patron goddess Hecate. She's the queen of witches, the goddess of crossroads. So 2 years ago, I wrote a book, which was amazingly successful. It blew my mind, the reception of this book. And now I'm pretty much known as an author over an artist, which is kind of weird for me. But yeah, so I just love sharing our tradition, my craft. I love writing rituals, doing workshops, and just really teaching the community.
Yes, there's so much to learn about everything. I don't think, and especially for you because you study and for Juelz and you guys study, there's always be something to learn. So, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I love it. So we're gonna talk about rituals. Let's see this. So here are all of us. I love this. I love this. So let's talk about. I have so many questions for you all. What is your definition of witchcraft, Juelz?
So with me, it's all about energy work. That's appreciating nature and using your energy within you to create the reality that you want. It's all inner self stuff. It's wonderful. Spirituality is great.
Yes. Okay, Jeff.
So for me, witchcraft is utilizing the force of creation to manifest real change in your life. So basically, the Big Bang, everything we know of was created from nothing, and that capacity to create from nothing is still within the universe and it's still all around us. So witches, we pull that energy to create to manifest our will. So all you really need is a connection to that, what we call the fiery ether, and your willpower to create actual results in the waking world. And a lot of times people will equate it with like a psychological benefit or like a self-help kind of thing, but that's not really witchcraft. Those are more self-help techniques. In order for it to be witchcraft, you have to have a tangible physical result from your magic.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. So so energy, right? So
Yeah.
how do we connect with that energy that you mentioned? Because according to what you just mentioned, if I understood correctly, we all have access to that energy.
Exactly. Yeah. And no matter when you're starting, so whether you're just getting on the path, whether you're adept at it, so you've been doing it for years, it doesn't matter. We all have the same connection to this fiery ether. We have the same ability to access this power. It's running around us, it's running through us at all times. All you need to do is be able to channel it through yourself into your will to get those results. So basically, once you know you have that connection, once you know that energy is swirling around you, you can pull it out of the air and make it do what you want. So, entire planets were created from this energy. Everything we know was created from this energy. So there's no reason why we can't do that same thing on a smaller scale.
Yeah. So like when you said pull that energy, I'm here imagining, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful at all. I'm here imagining like Harry Potter putting his wand and like see, like how is
Kind of,
that?
yeah. So it's like, so you conduct it. So basically, the wand itself is like a conductor's baton. So a lot of times, like in Harry Potter, you see like energy flying out of it and stuff. but really what you're doing is you're compelling the energy to go where you want. So for example, here is a wand created by my very talented friend. Um, so what you would do with this is you would basically direct the energy. So you're channeling it. You've opened yourself up to the capacity to create. So we call it igniting your witch flame. And then what you would do with this is you would like command it to come where you want. So let's say you want it to go into a charm or something like that. You would conduct that energy where you would want it to go. You don't need a wand. It just your everything in creation has, so it can get really complicated and I can ramble
It's
about this
Yeah.
for a
fascinating.
long
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
time.
it's just
Basically,
fascinating. Yes.
yeah, there's this principle, the ancients used to call it theurgy. And this is basically drawing the divine into the material world. And every single element and every single animal, every single rock, stone, plant is connected to some divine force. So the more links of this divine force that you have, so let's say, for example, you want to work with Hecate. She has specific plants, animals, stones, minerals that are attached to her energy. So the more of these links that you add to something, for example, a wand. So this is actually a wand dedicated to the god Pan. So his sacred tree is beech. So this is beech wood, and then this is goat bone. So these are two links in that chain to achieve the energy to connect with Pan. So if you're doing some kind of ritual that you need to work with his energy, you would use something like that to draw off of that. So all you need is the ability to connect with things in a spiritual way. You know, everything around us in and of itself is mundane. We have to make it spiritual. We have to tell it to be spiritual, and you have the power to do that. You know, it's all about that conscious effort to connect with these energies. So the way we do it is we work with gods and goddesses and spirits because they're of this energy. So that's why it's easier to achieve what you want in spell work and witchcraft when you're using these guiding forces, because they're sentient forces of nature that can hear you and that can bring the ether to you, so to speak.
Okay. All right. So Jules, right? When you're this, honestly, like your whole demeanor, your whole presence and everything, you're just like a goddess of everything, like, and the way you present yourself. How do you, like, Jeff mentioned some, that he uses. So how about your energy? Like, what do you have a wand? Do you have, like, what do you use to guide your energy?
Well, I have a lot of different tools. Witches usually have a lot of different tools. It's always
Okay.
good to have variety. But when it comes to how I carry myself, that's all literally from within. And a lot of the times, if I do need a boost in a direction of sort, I would work with someone like Aphrodite, and I would use different herbs that coincide with self-love and empowerment. Maybe even do a full moon ritual to kind of boost my energy again. So I would do spell work, I guess, to go with that.
Okay, okay. And yeah, let's talk about spell work. So you both specialize in spell works, right? And then Jules, you mentioned you specialize in spells and also curses, right?
Yes. I
So
think the whole family does, really.
Yeah.
okay, okay, the whole family, okay. So when okay, would someone need to curse somebody else?
When they
Any
are
of you, yeah.
directly messing with their soul's purpose, if they are
Hmm.
messing with your path and your soul's purpose, that's when you have to step in and stop them. You're essentially defending yourself in my eyes. You're stopping someone from, like, you're not going to, like, just curse someone that cuts you off in traffic, or, someone that talks crap about you on the internet. Like, it's someone that's really going at your soul's purpose and trying to stop
Hmm.
it.
Let's get an example. Like what would that be? Because when somebody
So
comes to you, right? You have to understand what it is, right? That they
if I'm
want
doing it, of
and
course, yeah, if I'm doing it for someone else, then yes, there's definitely more to it than meets the eye, but I can still do that. But when it's me personally, it's someone that is sitting there relentlessly, like, making it their life's purpose to defeat me in some sort of way. Like, I have literally had someone tell other people that they wanted to burn down my spiritual tree. Like, that's someone that, yeah, I'm gonna stop them from trying to inflict any harm on me. You know what I mean? So, like,
yeah.
it's I don't take it lightly when it comes to stuff like that. I have to be very like afflicted by what they're doing to me. And it's not even like people's energies don't really mess with me personally because I know how to let it just roll off my back, but I know a lot of people, they seek that out to just get that justice. It's defense, it's justice sort of thing. So we're behind that. Just do it for the right reasons. As long as your intentions are pure, which is to protect yourself and what you are here on this earth to do, then you're fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Jeff?
Yeah, so I think that she put it perfectly. They're going after what you're supposed to do in life. So, for example, this is people who are interfering with your family, your friends, your business, your success. That's the time you would want to curse. Someone who is harming you in some way to where it's going to throw your path off balance. So basically, what cursing is, it's keeping that balance. You want to keep those scales level. And if someone is trying to tip those out of your favor, you need to do something, especially if you've gone through conventional means and that's just not working. You do have the ability to curse. And the thing is, like, again, I know Juelz does the same thing, but we go through our divine to do this. And if they don't think it's justified, so if the gods don't think it's justified, they won't carry it out. If they do, then it will carry out. So we don't really think that there's any negative ramifications of cursing, just because we are giving it to a higher power to execute. And we do take it very serious as far as like we don't curse people, just for any reason. It has to be something significant.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to hear, because I mean, in the regular, right, people's world, whatever, right? We curse people. We'd be like, right? So we're cursing. We're
Yep,
saying
and
things.
that is a curse. We call that the evil eye. So when you send that intention out, you are still sending a little spark of negative energy to them, and throughout your day, even you as someone who maybe like people who are mundane or don't practice magic, you still want to protect yourself. So, for example, certain colors will reject it, like the color blue. The evil eye has a hard time sticking to the color blue because it represents the heavens.
Write it down, everybody. Wait,
Or-
blue.
yeah,
Wait, Jeff. Wait. Oh my God, blue.
yeah.
Okay, continue, please.
Yeah, and like sweet scents. So if you wear perfume or cologne, sweeter scents will repel the evil eye. And then as well as evil eye charms. So you have bracelets, necklaces with the eye symbol. That's specifically to repel that evil eye.
Okay, and that's why the eye is blue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Everyone watching, if you have any questions for either Jeff or Juelz, feel free to write them in the comments. If you also have comments, feel free to write them, and we will react to them as
It got
we
very
come through.
sunny in here, so it looks like I'm like
That you're
we're trying
washing
to
out.
escape you.
It's it was something that you said.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But okay, so let's talk about then spells, because then if spells are good and curses are bad, is that right? Okay, so obviously spell works? Do they work?
Absolutely.
Yes,
You should be
absolutely.
getting real results.
I wouldn't be doing this still if they didn't.
Right.
Really? Okay. So Juelz,
sure.
go ahead.
Oh, well, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of, for example, like doing the frankincense and dragon's blood incense to calm somebody down. Like that's something that you can get instant gratification from, and you can calm somebody down, and it's wonderful. There's things that just, I've given many examples before, but like prosperity workings, you can make a prosperity bowl, and as long as you're working towards that goal actively, you can't just like set a spell and forget it and hope that it takes. You have to actually keep working towards that goal and do the things in the real world that will help you get to that goal too. You can't just wait for it to be plopped on your doorstep. You do have to actually do more work towards it. And it's not maybe just one spell, it's a couple nights of spells or a month or two of spells. It's not just, I think that's where a lot of people get deterred, is where they do one spell and they expect it to work all the time really quickly. But it's not always like that. So
yeah, so it's just like everything in life, right? I mean, you cannot just be like, okay, I'm gonna buy a gym membership and then I'm gonna lose weight and I'm gonna get toned up, right? You have to work and work. Okay, all right. So Jeff, question for you. So when
Yes.
somebody comes to you like, oh, Jeff, just, I'm gonna be like, this is what I have seen some women, right? Oh my gosh, I love him. He's just, I don't understand. Like, he just needs, can you please help him love me? Right? That is the kind of love spell that I am
Right.
really wondering, does that thing work? Not that I
So
need
there's
to, but.
two. Yeah. So
Right. Totally.
here's the thing with love spells is it goes two ways. There's the true love spell. So this is if someone has the capacity to love you. So like let's say it's someone who won't commit, or like you're friends and you want to kind of there's interest and you want to bring it a little further. That's typically more successful type of love spells. Now, what you're talking about is a spell where it's kind of a curse. So you would have to directly interfere with their free will. So I have done that for clients, and I've told them that it might not end the way you want, and typically it doesn't. But what you would do
Right.
is you would actually, instead of going to a power like Aphrodite or Eros for love, you would go to Hecate or underworld gods to send spirits to torment the person until they love you. So it's like they wouldn't be aware that these spirits are tormenting them, but it will send forces to them to kind of override their free will and create a sort of faux love, like an insincere form of love that will bring them to you. But those, we always tell people, they typically do not end well if there has not been some established capacity for actual real love.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I can see how that would be because people
Hmm.
ultimately, right? Like when people are doing something because they have to, the moment they get a little glimpse of clarity, they will wake
Yep,
up, right? So
exactly.
yeah, okay. That is so fascinating, you guys. I mean,
Hmm.
like, okay, okay. So speaking, what what do you think people are drawn to the occult and esoteric? Like, why do you think that is, Jeff?
For me, I think it's because it's something that's in us. Like it's something that is just built in our DNA. We have that, like I said, that fiery ether is around us. We feel it subconsciously. We feel it on an atomic level, and we're drawn to it. It's there for a purpose. So when people get into this stuff, they're just fulfilling that. They're answering that secret call from the darkness, so to speak, of the
Mm,
cosmos. That force that's been here since the beginning of time, and that's what's drawing people to it. And it does produce real results, and the results speak for themselves, and people want to be a part of that.
yeah, yeah, Jules.
I think you put it very well, but also even more recently, like with the pandemic and everything, I think a lot of people are really just finally turning inward and trying to figure themselves out. And that's what they find is they find that they're connected with stuff that they hear witchcraft is all about. And, everyone's so brainwashed, through religion that witchcraft is bad and taboo. So I'm sure there's a little bit of curiosity in everybody just based off of that. So, you know, I'm glad people are finally seeing that there's more to life than what can be seen.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and I agree. I mean, there's like now, it's like okay, if the world was about to end because we all thought that that was what was gonna happen, what didn't I
Right.
do? What didn't I do? What can I do now? So I see your point there, Jules, on how people now are being a little bit
Hmm.
more open-minded to different
Yes.
things. Yeah, and so what do you think is the most important thing for people to know about witchcraft, Jules?
That it's not all evil and it's not bad and it's not what the media portrays it to be. It's very, very, it feels so good. Like, and you're always trying to take the positive in life. And it's a natural, freeing feeling that you get from tapping into the earth and what you have as a resource to you, not just physically, but metaphysically.
Yeah. Jeff?
Yeah, so I would say, it's something that anyone can do. It doesn't matter your religion, your faith, your spirituality. A lot of folk traditions around the world have some kind of folk magical practice to go along with them. You know, it's just about harnessing the power of the divine, harnessing the powers around you, and bettering your life, making sure that you, your family, your friends are happy and successful. So you don't have to be afraid of it. Little things that you do are probably already forms of witchcraft that we would say, and just explore it, explore your own power.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is true. I mean, I'm still thinking about, okay, how many gods are there? Like, so you have to talk to, like, you have to summon a specific god that does specific things?
Hmm. Yeah, so
And not
basically, gods
always. Some people
are,
don't have
yeah,
any gods or goddesses either.
right, exactly. So what we're doing when we're talking about gods, we're talking about a sentient force behind an element of nature. So, for example, weather, we call that Zeus. Light, we call that Apollo. These things are always around us. You don't have to name them. They're still going to exist. They're still going to do what they need to do. It just makes it easier. It just makes that contact with um, that ether, that force of creation, a little easier when you're going through something that's already connected with it. But if as far as numbers go, they're innumerable, as innumerable as elements of nature itself. So there, and it doesn't matter which pantheon you're serving as well. You can go to any kind of divine force to do this stuff.
Mm. Oh my gosh, Jules. So,
Oh yeah.
when the lady, when I'm saying the ladies because I'm just keep, this is what I was exposed to before whenever I heard spells and things like that, right? But you do your moon rituals, right? That's one of the moon rituals you
Yes.
do. Can you talk to us a little bit more about why do you do, what is so special about doing these rituals when there's a full moon?
So a full moon just is very empowering for me personally and for a lot of witches. It can be utilized in such a good way. I know a lot of people, they put it in the crazy side of things. I know that, a lot of people can feel a little affected by the moon, of course. But for witches, we're supposed to utilize that and empower us in many different ways, whether it's with creativity, with just self love in general, with prosperity. It's all about filling yourself with all these wonderful rays of moon that are coming down at you. It's such a great feeling to do, especially when you're outside and you're connecting with the elements and with nature and working towards your betterment. For sure.
Yeah, and it could be scary, just like you mentioned. Like some people, like, oh well, but we already feel that. All of us have. I know we have felt it. The moon's effect on us when there's a full moon. I mean, we feel it. We don't. We some of us might not know why it's happening, but when we pay attention to the things that happen around the full moon, it's like, listen, this is real. So what if we can get that energy and channel it to something good, right? Just like
Exactly.
recharge that energy and just like do something good with it. And I guess that's what you do with the moon, your moon ritual, right?
Absolutely. Yes, that's exactly right. I love it.
Oh,
It's one of my favorite things, especially like my house, the moon goes right over it perfectly, where it's just, for me, it's just an amazing experience. And I'll do it every month. I don't care.
Yep.
I mean, why not? So Jeff,
Exactly.
what kind of rituals do you do?
So I like to do celebratory festivals throughout the year. So depending on the season, depending on what's going on, I will do different rituals to different deities. Like right now, Halloween's coming up. For us, we celebrate this as Persephone's descent into the underworld. So the light half of the year is leaving; it's going down into the underworld. This is very symbolic of the dying of plants. Persephone represents growth, new growth, and plants of spring, and now it's being taken away, returning to the earth. So that's the biggest thing that we're celebrating right now. We also celebrate the season of the witch, which is under the patronage of Hecate, who is again the queen of witches. But yeah, depending on the season, I like to do things that honor the gods, that you can really take in this essence of the time of year and the energy that's coming from each and every season. I also love to do rituals for the new moon, which is sacred to Hecate, and the full moon, which I celebrate um, Pan and Selene. So, Selene is basically the moon herself, and then Pan being the god of nature. He's really correlated with the moon. So yeah, we just have fun with it. It's just like a lot of celebrations throughout the year.
That is awesome. That is great. And what? Oh my gosh! I want to have my own ritual, man. The only ritual, like the only ritual I have is just like tell my kids to clean the table once to get up. like what the heck? Let me do a spell for that.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But a question. So you have been, both of you have been witches since you were little, right?
Hmm.
So
Yep.
how was it growing up, going to school? Did your friends know that you were witches, and how did they react to this?
They
Jeff?
did in fact know. I feel
Okay.
like we were very open about it. And it's very bright here again. The sun keeps coming out, so it's gonna look really
You're illuminated. That's it. You're
illuminated.
glowing.
But that was the fun thing is like we got a lot of our friends into it. So we would be like, all right, let's go in the woods and do an initiation or something. Some of my earliest memories are doing witchcraft with our cousin. It's like there was this book that kind of started out for me was it's called Out of the Cauldron. It's this like history of witchcraft book for kids, but in the back they had like actual spell work. So we would take that and then run to the woods and then try to do the stuff that's in the book. So yeah, we were very open about it. We actually embraced the whole thing. I remember being in elementary school and kids chasing me around with popsicle stick crosses, and I just thrived. So great for me.
Oh my gosh. So Jules, how was it for you? Was it the same experience?
Pretty much. It was, and that we loved making waves. We loved,
Hmm.
making people kind of think about life. Like people, that was a time where definitely was not as accepted as it is now. And a lot of parents didn't like us because of that. But the kids liked us.
Hmm.
Like,
Yep.
I never got picked on. I always felt like the rock star of my school. Like, and if people did pick on me, they didn't do it to my face. So it was fine. Like, nobody
Right.
cared. We've had like relatives that would, talk stuff to our parents, and our parents would just be like, and, like,
Yeah.
so we had a great time.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you watch Hocus Pocus part two.
Yes.
Yes.
So have you ever pulled jokes like that, like the girl did to this guy when she was like mentioning just like spirulina, but with the like evil whisper? Have you done things like that to
Oh, of course.
people who were?
Of
100%.
course.
Yeah. All the time.
Yeah, and it's
It
that
goes with
that
the
whole thing.
territory.
Like they're like, "Oh, you're wearing all black," and we're like, "Oh, you're wearing pastels." My cousin actually said
Yeah.
that to one of those people. That was so great. It was at Carousel Mall. We were like, "Okay."
Yeah.
That is awesome. I mean, like, yeah, okay.
Yes.
That
Yep.
is,
And if people
yeah,
want to say that we're evil, then yes, we're evil. Like
Yeah.
whatever. You people, I don't
Right.
know.
You do you. We're not concerned with it. So
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's not going to change what we do either.
no.
Yeah, and the thing I think this happens with everything. It doesn't even matter whether it is witchcraft or any other type of religion, or even something else that you do. There's always something that's going to be said about that which we do, right? So it's like
Right.
Yes.
just holding on to our beliefs and our own, and then we just feel happy with that, and they need to figure it out themselves, right? They need to figure it out.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yes. What other people think about you is none of your business.
Right.
That's how
No.
I like to think about it. I'm still
Awesome.
gonna do exactly what I do, and it's not gonna stop me. You're not gonna stop me.
We need a
Exactly.
song. We need a song. I wish I had a song right here. Like, you're
Yeah.
not gonna stop me. But,
Love it.
so I want to talk about the Halloween veil, because I know last time we talked about it real quick, and then I just got so excited about that. And then I also want to talk about, if in a non in the most simplest of ways, right? How can we communicate or send messages to our loved one who has passed on, of like when we missing them so terribly, and we just want to just like kind of hear something from them in the most simplest of ways? How can we do that? So let's answer that one first, and then let's go to the Halloween veil. All right, Jeff, you want to
Yes.
take that?
Yeah, so basically, connecting with your ancestors is extremely easy because they're literally always around you. So they are in another plane of existence. So, they have passed on, but the spheres are interlocked. They're where they are and where we are is always going to be linked. So, what we tell people to do is set up an ancestor shrine. So, what you would do is just take pictures of them, set it on a nice clean shelf, surrounded with some other things, and that becomes their physical representation here in the physical world to communicate with. And you just go and talk to them like you would, like they were actually there. Give them offerings. So, for example, if they liked coffee, if they like certain drinks or certain foods, you would put that on the altar, and then just chat with them. And the way that they talk to you back is through kind of like vibes. So you'll get like feelings, or they will physically come to you in dreams. So they will talk to you through dreams. If you're having a dream of an ancestor, don't think it's just a dream. That is most likely them visiting you.
Okay. That's the. I want to do it, and I want to share like this is real, everyone, like for real, because I experienced it. So it's like until you experience something, you might just pass it as like, oh, whatever, hocus pocus. But this I was driving to my future husband's apartment, and it was a beautiful day. I was just driving, music, feeling my thing, and then and I was feeling good. It wasn't like I was stressed or anything. And I'm driving, and all of a sudden, I see my dad. Like my dad passed on, so I just see him sort of like coming in like this, and then sitting on the passenger seat. And he just stayed there looking straight. He didn't look at me. He didn't do anything. He just sat in there and looked straight. And I just got a feeling, a really nice feeling, but it wasn't scary. And I looked at him and I was like, Bobby, what? Like, what? Why? Right? Like, it's random at the moment, right? I thought that it was random. So I was like, I mean, obviously, I was extra happy that I saw him and I wasn't scared. And I just enjoyed the energy that he gave me that just by sitting there. So then, past on that, I didn't understand. I enjoyed the visit. But then, when I was going back, I saw in the map that where we buried him was 2 exits past that. And that was a new path that I took. So I didn't know. And then I saw it, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that was amazing. I mean, so I know that exists. And I know, and we can open the channels even more, Jeff, like you mentioned, but sometimes it can get scary, right? Like, if we go too far, how do we stop it?
Right. And that's the thing. Like when you start doing this stuff, so when you actually start acknowledging that it exists, you do open yourself up. You do become a little kind of like flickering light for different spirits to come and communicate with you. Most of the time, like in your situation, it's ancestors. So those are who are around you. But sometimes, if you're like, let's say, walking through a cemetery, you can get attachments and stuff can try to follow you. And that's why if you're going to start getting into this stuff, protecting yourself is really important. So things like evil eye charms, paying at the gate of cemeteries, stuff like that. But yeah, it when you start looking for it, you can tell it's real, and there's no question in your mind. So that's why we always encourage people to really get into it.
Okay. Oh, I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting. We have Nadia in with us saying that they are truly enjoying this great interview with 2 of my favorite people and favorite witches.
Oh, yeah.
Making my day.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you,
Well, thank you for
Nadia.
joining.
Yeah, we love you too.
So then let's talk about the veil. Let's talk about the Halloween veil. What kind of the things, right, we could do, and I don't want to, I want to talk more later about how we can protect ourselves, right? Because I don't know if you can tell, but I do want to talk more to my dad, but I'm I stop it because I don't want to open myself up to the things that you mentioned, Jeff.
Right.
I want to do that. But let's talk about the Halloween veil, Juelz.
Oh, well, you can do a lot of cool stuff. One of our favorite things is taking wormwood and burning it on charcoal and just sitting there in meditation, trying to receive messages from your ancestors. There's also what is called the dumb supper, which is something where you invite your ancestors to eat and you have to be silent the whole time. Yeah, there's even just going to a celebration like the ball and honoring ancestors. It's all about honoring ancestors and people that have passed
Hmm.
before us. So anything that you can do to incorporate that into your day or a few days surrounding, or even the days coming up to Halloween. Obviously, the veil gets thinner as we progress to actual Halloween, but yeah, there's a lot of different. It just depends on your comfort level, I guess. Because the dumb supper is not for everybody. You have to be quiet. If you have crackers, it might make somebody laugh. It's not. It's just a thing.
Okay,
But
so
yeah,
like it's an inside joke.
Yeah, we
yeah.
did
Well,
that
that's
once.
what
Well, they
happened.
did
But
that once when I was in
yeah,
Chicago.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
and chose the crunchiest food to eat when you have to be silent, and it's just yeah, you definitely have to plan things out properly.
It's so so so.
Yeah.
How long do you have to be quiet for? So is how long is meditating, right? Maybe is that, or is it just?
Kind of.
It's
Yeah.
it could it takes like half hour to an hour. Like you want to be able to let them sit and have supper with you, and to honor
Hmm.
them and be silent for that time, and that's really what it's all about for us as a family, is to honor our ancestors.
Yeah, of course,
Right.
of course. I mean, how do you know that? I mean, you will feel the presence, right? If they came.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And the more you
And the
do it,
thing
the
is,
better you get at it.
right, and you do it in the dark, so you are seeing them in shadows. So you're typically it's very dimly lit, like my video right now because of the sunside photo.
I'm gonna put you on big
But
screen so we can all appreciate your
yeah,
dim
oh, it's
video.
coming back. It's coming back. There
There
it
you
is. There it is. Yeah, you just have to call it out when it comes out. But yeah, so like you're doing it in dark, you're seeing the shadows moving, and you get the vibe, so you know that they're kind of present with you.
Yeah. Oh my God. So we have Allie. Let me go back here so we can all see it. We have Allie saying, "Hi guys, thanks for representing the community."
Hi,
Hi, Allie.
absolutely.
So okay, so then so let's talk about what um we're quiet, we're feeling them, we're hearing them. Is it something like Jules, you mentioned the more you do it, the better you will get at it? So what could we
Hmm.
expect if we're doing this for the first time, where we're not experienced at all, we're just trying to do our thing? And how do we first, right, protect ourselves before we go into that, and then call upon them, our ancestors?
So it's a very structured ritual that you have to do. So things are going to happen wrong the first time. That's just how it's going to go.
Okay.
And you might
Okay.
not feel the feelings that typically someone that's been doing it for a long time might feel. So I would say go into it with no expectations, but just knowing that you're going to honor your ancestors. And really, with as far as protection goes, a lot of it has to do with your grounding and centering yourself. For me, when I am doing any kind of protection, I mean, you can do rituals and stuff for it, but when it comes to doing the dumb supper and honoring the ancestors, I don't typically incorporate that. But if I did, it's essentially just me grounding and centering myself and being present in the moment and letting all my space know that, I'm not dealing with any negative energies right now. And that's not what this is about. I talk to my space, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. And you, Jeff?
Yeah, so your house where you live right now has a guardian spirit already. Whether you know it or not, there's a spirit of the place that's dwelling there. And that's usually going to be the first line of defense as far as like keeping things out. When you're in your own space, generally things aren't going to get in unless you specifically invite them.
Mm.
But when you're talking with ancestors, you will know that it's them because there's a very specific familiarity. Like you said, in your experience, you knew, you know, you got that rush of good feeling. So it's like that. It's going to feel familiar. The first time you do it, it's going to be mostly about remembrance. It's going to be mostly about contemplating the person that you're trying to communicate with. They very well might be there. They probably are going to be there. You're just not going to be able to really latch onto that energy. But uh, I mean, who knows, like you could actually get really good results from it. But just like Julie said, don't expect it. Don't go into it with any expectations. Just do it in that spirit of remembrance. And a lot of people knock it, but really, like pumpkin spice stuff is really protective. So if you did want to go out of your way to do some kind of protective thing, make yourself a pumpkin spice latte. You know, cloves, cinnamon, nutmeg. The ingredients in that are very protective herbs. So you can use that as a seasonal drink that you're taking into yourself to keep things from attaching to you.
Ooh, I mean, and you will smell good too, you know, because
Exactly. Yep.
that smells good. That's awesome. Hey, hi, Marga. If you have any questions about any witchy questions, let it go. Put them here.
Hmm.
So let's talk about some other dark stuff real quick, such as the Ouija board. Is that real? Is it true? That is a take it away, Jules.
Well, there are different ways to use it. A lot of people think that it's a horrible, evil thing, but we actually use it quite often in our house. Like, we all have one. We there are different ways to use it. As a kid, typically someone's moving the thing around. But as an adult, you can do some different techniques. But yeah, I'm okay with Ouija boards.
Yeah, okay.
Hmm.
So like for the regular person who wants to, for example, because a lot of people, especially when people are hurting, right? When people are hurting about a loved one or about they want to find some answers and they're like, "Oh, I heard that the spirits are around us, so let me ask it." They do crazy things. And
Right.
so, getting a Ouija board and trying to figure out things that might not turn out to the best for them. Is that correct?
Yeah, so typically, a lot of like, especially for children who are witches they don't know it yet, their first legitimate experience can be with something like a Ouija board. Even if, like, let's say there is someone pushing it who, like, there's two things that can happen. Someone's pushing it to just play games, but also a child or someone could be pushing it not knowing that they're a medium. So you are pushing it, but you're just spelling out the answers that you're subconsciously receiving. So when spirits talk to mediums, sometimes it's auditory, so sometimes they're actually hearing it, but sometimes it's coming through as like foreign thoughts, so thoughts that aren't theirs, but they're just getting these answers. So it is a very effective tool. It's not evil. What the problem is when you start doing it with sincerity, especially, like I said before, you're lighting that little spark within yourself. You're igniting a little bit of that witch flame that's going to draw in other spirits. And because typically you're doing Ouija boards in darkness at night, the things that are wandering around can be, you know, pretty dangerous or malicious, and they can masquerade as other things through things like the Ouija boards. That's why trusting your feeling, trusting your instincts when you're doing it is really, really important.
Yeah, I gotta tell you something, Jeff. Thank you so much for sharing all of this information. And I can see how you are an amazing instructor. You explain things very, very thoroughly. So I
Yeah.
appreciating this, and with
Yeah,
that,
thank you.
yeah, with that, you do teach classes, right?
Yes, I do. Yep. Right now I have the course for my book, but we are going to be expanding courses. So we're going to be actually doing courses through our site, brujobros.com. We'll be teaching all these techniques.
Yeah, I mean, because we gotta know, right? We're gonna know these things. If we're gonna get into it,
Yep.
we have to go basic, though, like straight. Like, don't go
Hmm.
on because you heard some things here and you heard some like, okay, the moon. You go out and you get the energy. Like, just because you heard it doesn't mean that it's gonna work out. Like Jules said, you might try calling up on your ancestors, but that might not work out that way. So actually
Hmm.
educating yourself about the thing that you want to do would be will give you greater results and more positive results and might even
Right.
help you to continue your journey through that. So
Exactly.
if you have any questions about that, if you would like to book a consultation with Jules or with Jeff, you can do so. So right now we have, let me get you Juelz right here. Look at your highness right here. Oh, Jesus. So that's so that is Juelz, go ahead and talk about like what people contact you from your website. How can
Yeah.
they book
Yep.
yeah,
You
go
can
ahead.
go to my website. Yep. You can go to my website. You can go, pretty much I'm on all social media platforms. So on Instagram, even TikTok, Facebook. You can message me if you ever need anything. I'm pretty available to everyone. I'm all about helping people on the path. So even if you just have a question on what kind of spell you should do for something, if I'm available, I'll definitely answer. And if you're local and want to stop in the shop, I am going to be opening it back up soon. Things just got kind of busy for a little bit, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, I'm going to get it back open soon.
Yeah, speaking of that, remind me to show a little glimpse of your store in a little bit. But then
Yes.
Jeff, for you, if they want to get a hold of you, here we go. Look at that picture. I mean, like you guys are like
Yeah.
the whoa. The coolest, like nicest looking siblings, which
Right.
is
Yeah, so just contact me through my website, jeffcullenartistry.com or brujobros.com. So we're pretty available as well. So just send a message, let us know what you're looking for, and we'll be more than happy to help you out.
okay.
See, that's
And
all my
these are your
courses.
courses, okay.
Yep. So you can do either the full course or you can just pick individual courses that are of interest to you. So you don't have to do the whole thing if you want to just do like a one-off course.
Got it. And how do we know what is, because the first one is, what does the first one means? How do you pronounce
So
this?
Libra Chthonium, yeah, Libra Chthonium is the book, so that's the title of my book.
Okay.
And then, like right now, the course is still ongoing, so they're done live. So, for example, we're on week 10, which is going to actually be in November, and you can, like, let's say you want to do, week 8, which is Awakening the Ecamm, which is your sacred statue. You could just do that, and then you can I'll send you a link to the pre-recorded or the recorded Zoom session as well as a PDF that goes along with it.
Okay, all right. And that looks good. I'm about to, and Nadia is saying the course is fabulous because she wrote it with, capital letters.
Yeah.
So I just have to.
Thank you, Nadia.
So this is awesome. And then, okay, so Marga writes, a Ouija board told me I was a guide dog in a past life. How can could that be a true? Like, do you ask that question, Mark? Or you're like, who was I? Is that how
The
it
thing
goes?
is, like, yeah, so there's this thing called, so if you're, see, this is where I'm going to start rambling, but it's fine. So
Rival.
Plato, the Roman poet Plato wrote this book called The Republic. And it's basically about Rome and all this stuff. But in the end of it, he recounted this thing called the myth of Ur. Ur was this Roman soldier who was killed in battle. And so when you die in ancient Greco-Roman folklore, you drink from the river of forgetfulness so that you don't remember your life and you can go into the afterlife. And he recounted how it's basically a reincarnation system. So you go through, you see the fates, and they give you a choice how you want to be reborn. So they pretty much show you your entire future in this life if you choose to live it. And you can choose to be animals. So animals, like sometimes people go for the leisurely life of a cat, or they become another human. But it's to help your soul ascend. And the funny thing is, that's where they actually think deja vus come from, was that you saw this entire lifetime from your past life and you're remembering parts that you saw when you were shown what was going to happen. So that's very
Ooh.
possible. Could have been a guard dog.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, like, we could be here for well, that's why you have courses, because then you can
Yeah,
explain all of these
exactly.
things, right? So Juelz, what about you? So can people book you for consultations? How does that work for you?
So when it comes to doing spell work for people, yes, they can definitely do that. I'm open to doing spell work at any time. Sometimes I have workshops, sometimes I have events at my shop. So it would just be a lot of following my page and getting any up-to-date stuff. I have a little course too. It's all about beginning witchcraft. It's like the basics of a lot of different topics. But yeah, other than that, I mean, all they have to do is message me and tell me what's up.
Yeah, okay, yeah, message her and tell her what's up because like she is truly like very active on social media, very active, and I
Mhm.
just although we spoke about Jeff a couple for 2 years now, this is the first time that Jeff and I are kind of talking. So I'm gonna start following you, Jeff, because like
All
you have
right.
some great stuff. Yeah, some great stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
so, is there anything else that you would like to share with the community in terms of awareness or anything else that we should be perhaps thinking about as when it relates to witchcraft and protection, all that stuff? Jeff?
I would say keep at it. If you're not feeling it one day, if you're not, don't have the energy, do something small. Little acts can create big change. So, if you're discouraged, if you're not getting results, just keep at it, keep consistent, keep working your energy, and start looking for those small blessings, acknowledge those blessings even when things are rough. You just have to persevere. And that's pretty much the entire reason why we do what we do is to persevere and to better ourselves. So keep that in mind. Realize that you do have the potential to make these changes. Drown out that doubt, that self doubt you might have with it. Drown out any kind of, criticism you might get from it, and just do it. Just do what you need to do to make your life happy.
Yeah, okay, good, good. Jules?
I would say, yes, keep practicing, especially when it comes to the intuition. You need to definitely follow what is inside of you first and foremost before anything. Always be true to yourself, always be honest with yourself and everyone around you. Always act with pure intent and always be grateful, but always reach for more. Always live
Mhm.
your life and know that nobody's promised tomorrow and you need to just go for it. You need to do what you have to, you gotta definitely put yourself out there and connect with yourself, with spirit, however that may be for you. All paths are different. So don't always compare yourself to other people's paths either. Find yourself within
Mhm.
all of this. That's like the key to happiness in life in general, I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, agree. Definitely agree. This is you both of you. You're awesome. Like the way you
Thank you. So
share
are
your
you.
info. Yeah, I mean, thank you. The way you
Right?
share your information, the way your energy just transfers is beautiful. It's something that you have. Like you can tell you have control of your energy and how you guide it.
Right.
So right. So yes, Jules is
For
like
sure.
yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Yes. And that's what we want to give to everybody else. We want everyone to
Right.
feel how we feel. Like we love who we are
Yeah.
and what we do, and we want everyone to feel the same exact way.
Every single one of us has the capacity to do all of this at the same level, regardless when you're starting, regardless how new you think you are, regardless how much you think you don't know. We all have the same power. We all have the same amount. So just do it. Just realize it.
yeah, that's great. Just like realize your power and go for it. Like,
Hmm.
yes. I
Yes.
was like sometimes it's easier said than done, but surrounding yourself
Yeah.
with great people and with a great
Hmm.
knowledge and information will help you get there where you want to go, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So can each of you end the stream with a joke that you have heard about witches and demystify it, like like something that you actually laugh about and be like, so now you can explain it. Jules, go ahead. Do you have one?
Well, I have one from personal experience. I had our organization did a chili taste off. We were just talking about this last night. And we had church people calling the health department saying that we were putting children in our chili, eyeballs, alligators, like toads, you name it. And like at first the health department's like, this has to be a joke. But then they kept calling. They kept calling and they kept calling. So eventually people just started calling it demonic chili. And then everybody wanted it. So it's like we don't put all that stuff in our chili, first of all. Second of all, alligator you can actually get at the state fair. You can eat it. It's not like that's not a bad thing. But we don't put stuff like that in our chili.
I was over
It's
here
incredible.
dying. I'm like, I'm not gonna laugh so that everybody can hear what she's saying.
Yeah.
Right? The demon
Uh,
chili. Oh my gosh, so that still happens. That witches eat children.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
100%. Yep.
Oh wow. I wonder where that came. You probably know where that came from, but holy wow. You're putting children in this. Okay,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
very
It's not
interesting.
new, but it's new.
Hmm.
It's crazy.
Wow. And what do they think that does? I mean, I would be, if it was me, I'll be like, yes, I'm doing it because I want to be X, Y, and Z. And the eyes help me see.
Right.
right,
Yeah.
right. My goodness. I mean, there's a
Oh,
lot of different herbs that have funny names that do play into all the media and stuff like that. But it's like, you know, we just have to roll with the punches, I guess. We get protesters at the witches ball. We got them
Hmm.
last year,
Yeah.
so it's like people are very much still against witches. It's still a thing.
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
wow. Oh, wow. Like the unknown, right? Because when people don't know something, they resist it. And they got to do everything they can possibly do to stop it, right? So,
Hmm.
Exactly.
all right, Jeff, your turn.
So the only thing I think is like she did share experiences, so I'm kind of like the stereotypical witch where I love things like cauldrons and brooms. And every time someone comes over to our house, they're remarking on how many brooms there are. Like we were showing someone around our house, and they're like, for some reason, I don't know how this happened, but every single room that they went in, there was just a broom for no reason. And they're like, "Wow, you witches really do have a lot of brooms." And I was like, I don't think it's typical, but just for some reason, they're just everywhere right now, and I don't know how it happened, but it was just funny. And we had a friend, we were telling her about how, like, oh yeah, if I don't know if you've seen Practical Magic, the movie, but one of the scenes where they say if a broom falls down, company's coming. So the broom was leaning against the wall, and we were like, we were telling her, like, if a broom falls, company's coming. And all of a sudden the broom fell, and there was a knock on our door, and it was our downstairs neighbor. Her and her daughter freaked out. It was just perfect
Oh
timing. It was
my
hilarious.
gosh.
Like it was great. But yeah, the fact that I do actually, now that I think about it, I have a lot of brooms.
Are you gonna keep them?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Oh
He'll
my gosh.
probably buy more. He's gonna get more,
Yeah, I
just like the
probably will buy
cauldrons.
more.
He
Yeah.
just buys more. But it's okay because if he ever has extras, they come to my house.
Yes, they do. They only make me get rid of them.
Hello,
Same with
Paul.
statues. Yeah, same
I-
thing.
Yeah.
So he said, "Hi, Paul." He says, "Got to love the Christians. They have huge imaginations."
Yes, they do.
Yes,
It's very
yes, yes,
clever for
yes.
us. It gives us ideas.
I'm
Right? And
telling
it's
you.
good publicity. It's good publicity.
Right.
And Marga writes, "Oh, Latin fam has always been in touch with mysticism." Okay,
Yes.
we do
Absolutely.
have.
Yeah,
Oh my
Latino
gosh.
culture always has some form of folk magic ingrained in it. Like most Latino people are Catholics, but they have a lot of really powerful folk magic that goes with that Catholicism. So it's the same stuff we do, just with saints and Jesus and Mary. So
Yeah,
my husband's
yeah.
from Peru, so he shares all that stuff with me.
Aw, that's cool. So Fulgence had to do a joke. I guess he had to be in here. So Jeff, you met him earlier. Fulgence is co-producing. He goes. This is his joke. I apologize if it's not right. So that's it. Okay, thank you so much for sharing your joke, Fulgence.
Exactly. There you go.
Oh my gosh, this has been so great, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us on this episode of Ask the Witch and the witches. And we will be back in 2 Thursdays. Stay tuned for that. Our channel is Officially-Unofficial TV on YouTube, as well as on Facebook. If you would like to be a guest on our show, you can send us, fill out a form that's going to be posted on the comments, and let us know what is your expertise in the area of mental health, as well as if you have an expertise on something that relates to helping humanity, right? Helping people get better with themselves and self-help and things like that. Let us know by filling out that form, and we'll consider you for being a guest on the show. And now, you guys have been amazing. Juelz, I wish you your ball to be like this grandiose amazingness that you are expecting.
Yes.
And it is this weekend.
Always.
Yep.
It is. I'll have tons of pictures posted, so everybody follow.
I would love to. You should do like a live, live stream or something.
I would
real
love
quick.
to. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I would love
Now
to. We actually do go live for the ritual.
Okay. And,
Yeah.
and which page? Is your page?
So no, it's on the Witches and Heathens of CNY public page on Facebook. So we'll probably also upload it to our YouTube as well once we get the feed all set. But it'll be at 9:30. Oh no, 9 o'clock. I think we did 9 o'clock for the ritual for Saturday.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so for this Saturday, so everyone, this Saturday at 9 p.m., right? So you have to follow. You have to follow Juelz's page. And Juelz, what is the page name?
it's Witches and Heathens of CNY Inc. So it has ink at the end. So that's how you know that that's the public page for everybody to see. Because we like making the rituals public so people can see what we actually do and break the stigmas surrounding witchcraft. So
Yeah. So Jeff, what kind of things are you gonna? Is this gonna be your first year at the ball, or?
This is my second. So yeah, this is I've been to the first one and now this one. So it's gonna be amazing. Our ritual is fantastic. The party is fantastic. The closing ritual is fantastic. It's just great. It's all great.
and there's still tickets available. So go get your tickets so you can just join in on the fun.
There we go. Yes, I mean, like I'm telling you, next year you like plan this thing, because now there's like you can do hybrid events where you can do both. People can buy a ticket to just watch the rituals and things behind the scenes. So maybe that's something for next year. But yes, thank you, Fulgence, for adding the Witches and Heathens webpage in there. Great, awesome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and Juelz and Jeff. Thank you so much for all the knowledge you shared with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for the curiosity.
Yes.
You're so welcome. I still have like so many questions, but I'm like, okay, it's already over.
We do this. Every year we do this. It's always like this thing where you're just like, I want more.
Right. It's just so interesting. I have so many questions that I didn't ask, but it's great. We will pick up the following year and see what's up. And maybe, awesome. Yes, everyone. Well, thank you so much for watching Officially Unofficial. My name is Ana Gil. Bye.
Bye.
There is Juelz. and there is Jeff. Hey. And here is me. Bye, everybody.